Welcome, once again, to another wondrous episode of the Throne of Angels video blog. As always, I am your host, Mr. Derek Osborne, here to show you a world with a giant hammer in miniature. Still not going to slam my hammer down in this new location, mainly because, well, this one has wood floors as opposed to concrete, and I don't want to scratch them or something. I don't know. Anyways, still not slamming the hammer. I might later on as I get more in tune with my environment. But I'm sure you're all wondering, Oz, why do you have a bunch of books on your table? Well, today we're going to talk about my next project. And it starts with this book, the new rulebook, Monstrous Tome, the core book for Age of Sigmar from Games Workshop. This one obviously is the one that comes out of the Dominion box set because it's got the special edition cover. You all know me, I'm a big Angel guy, so I had to have the one with the Stormcast Angel on it. But the new Stormcast in the box are pretty sweet. However, that's not what we're here to talk about today. No, it's not. Today we're going to chat a little bit about concepting an army. So, I'm going to show you a new army. Well, it's not a new army. I've been collecting it for like 4 years now. With a singular concept, however. Well, two concepts. The Barbarian Horde, and the one I'm going to get into here in a second. Pretty much a Slaves of Darkness Chaos army. You guys know I like chaos. But when it comes to theming out my armies, a couple of questions arise. How do you do it? Well, sometimes I just pick a model in the army that I really like and focus around it. Other times, I use source material, right? Books. Books are a great source material for concepting an army. This one, the complete Cthulhu Mythos Tales by Lovecraft, it's a little too easy. A little too easy. Arabian Nights, man, that's some old school, really good stuff. Still not feeling it. Now this, my favorite story of all time, Alice in Wonderland. This works, right? Alice in Wonderland, how do you make this a chaos army? Well, to start out with, we take chaos and we move into Wonderland. So, today's army project, Chaos in Wonderland, will be brought to you by a couple of sweet books, right? Alice in Wonderland through the Wookiee glass. No, it's not a Star Wars crossover. Through the Looking Glass. If you guys have never actually read the books, read the books, right? This is not Disney film. I mean, the Disney film's obviously based off of these, but there's so much more to the books than the Disney film. Now, if you guys like me are Alice fans, then you know American McGee's Alice, the video game, right? I've got a couple of reference source books from one of the more creative individuals to take the Alice story and run crazy with it. So we'll be using this also as part of our reference material. Now, the great thing about some of these Alice books is they do have a lot of good pictures, right? Old school woodcut pictures. This stuff is invaluable for reference material as well, right? Gets that imagination flowing, the juices going. So we'll take both of these books, both of those books, maybe some other stuff, and we'll start applying some of these concepts to a chaos army. So how does that break down? Well, I'm just going to cut to what I have, quote unquote, right now. And that is my initial start out for my army layout, right? Still haven't figured out what I'm going to do for a few models. As you can see, there's question marks all over the place. But I have the initial basis, right? This project starts out with kind of a Path to Glory concept. I haven't finished reading that in the new book yet. The new book has a new Path to Glory set in it. If it's anything like the old Path to Glory, and I'll be honest with all y'all Age of Sigmarites out there, I have not read the Path to Glory rules yet. Have not done it. So it might just throw this concept right out the window because the initial concept was based off of the old Path to Glory rules that are in the various battle tomes. So we're going to take a look at a bunch of the models that I have. They're actually right here on the floor, and then a couple of boxes. There's a couple of them actually sitting behind me on a shelf too. Now, getting back to what this is for, So a couple of local guys to the new area, well, the new area that I live in, Dex and Jay Palmer are going to join me in this journey. I believe Jay Palmer is going to run some Oryx, and Dex is going wild with the new Soulblight Vampires. I've got a whole army of those guys sitting over here too, but he got product first, and that was kind of the agreement. Whoever got product in first got to go with Soulblight. So Dex won, and I am jumping back into a really old project. Like I said, I've been collecting models for this for 4, maybe 5 years. It originally actually started out as Orcs in Wonderland, and then evolved to Chaos in Wonderland. But that's another story for another time. So, books aside, it's time to take a look at some models and really kind of delve into what it is I am looking at accomplishing with this army build. We're going to start kind of with a wide shot pan of the entire table with really a bunch of random stuff on it. Essentially to show you all the amount of models that I've collected for this concept. Of course, every good concept starts with kind of quote-unquote the base side of things. This one really started with Wrath and Rapture, as you see in the top of the frame there. All that's in there is just the Slaaneshi side of the box. I basically went in halves with a friend of mine. He took all the Cornet demons, I took all the Slaanesh demons, and really was going to jump into a Hedonites of Slaanesh force with heavy summoning on the demonette side of things. This was kind of before the the heavy release of the new Keeper of Secrets and really essentially the unveiling of all the new stuff. I was really excited with the fluff coming out of Age of Sigmar for Slaanesh and where Slaanesh was kind of going. When they dropped the Hedonites, really excited for some stuff, kind of disappointed some other stuff. But again, taking really kind of the core of where we're at and moving to a concept army, let's break down all the little bits and pieces that I have here and kind of talk about what's really on my mind in regards to where I'm going with some of this stuff. Honestly, the easiest way to translate a Chaos army, in my opinion, now y'all may be thinking I'm crazy, or you may agree with me, either way, doesn't matter. Mad as a hatter, right? So the easiest way to, in my mind, translate this style force, Chaos army, to Chaos in Wonderland is to chase down the Red Queen's army. So how do we start with that? Well, we start with the Red Queen. I don't have a model for that yet because I'm actually going to use a Shard Speaker from the Hedonites of Slaanesh. I had ordered one twice from 2 different stores. Both stores, they're on back order, quote unquote, and I'm not huge on jumping onto eBay and just buying from some random place. I prefer to buy local when I do buy, and my main store is not too far from here, and then the next one I buy is Dice Head Games in Cleveland, Tennessee, which is about a 2-hour drive from here. But Shane, the guy that owns the place, is a buddy of mine, and I love to support his business whenever I can. But at the moment, Shard Speakers apparently are on back order, like half of everything else Games Workshop is producing at the moment. But I did, however, get my Red King, which is a Lord of Pain. So Lord of Pain is going to be my Red King. The Shard Speaker is going to be my Red Queen. Now, through the looking glass, Slaanesh works fairly well for a couple of reasons, right? There's a number of mirrors available in the Hedonites army list, the Shard Speaker having one of those. So making her my Red Queen, it just kind of fits. So from there, I need the Knave of Hearts. Well, I have one in a Chaos Champion on the Monarch Steed. Now this is an old mounted Slaanesh model, and the banner comes from basically the 80s, I think. Maybe 90s, late 80s, early 90s. 2nd or 3rd edition Warhammer. This guy here used to be on this big boob snake. Now he is on the Bard's horse from the old game Confrontation. So one of the things that I will say is I really do like the idea of the Lions of Allahan cavalry. These are, this is the base I built for him. It's a round one. He'll probably go on a cavalry base. Who knows? The Bards of Alahan, like I was saying, they have some really beautiful horse models, right? Now, I picked up 8 or 9 of these things in just basically a, hey, I'm looking for a bunch of horse, or a bunch of these cavalry models. Anybody got any? And somebody said, well, hey, I've got just the horses. I don't have the riders. Well, that's perfect, because all I need is the horses. I don't want the riders, because I am taking basically stuff from old sprues. Old sprues, these ones here being the old Cold One riders from the Dark Age of Warhammer, the old world, and turning them into my cavalry. So as you can see, he has a very beautiful shield. This comes also from another confrontation model. One of the line of elves, their infantry have these shields. So I'm on the lookout for another 5 of those, because I only have 5 of those shields at the moment, as I need 10 for my horsies. Now, I also ordered up some of the Slick Blade Seekers, because these guys may also fall into another unit of cavalry. Now, the new steeds of Slaanesh, obviously they have, you know, some really detailed filigree. It really kind of ties them into, I guess, what I'm trying to accomplish with my base cavalry, right? So the base cavalry, and this is obviously the champion's horse, or will be the champion's horse. They have a really beautiful level of detail, and their armor, their barding, has got a high level of filigree attached to it. So these guys tie in really, really well. Now, as you can see, the plastic's still on the box, so I'm getting hot spots, and it's driving me crazy. My first unit of knights, more than likely going to be Painbringers, right? These guys run these shields, really kind of excite me. They don't tie in exactly to what I'm trying to accomplish with my cav, but I can get close enough with these guys, right? And I can also take some of this stuff and turn it into hearts, right? Some of these can basically be reset. I can reshape a few of these into a heart shape and give them kind of a heart-shaped look. So I've got a ton of other stuff on the table. What do I have? Well, I've got stuff, you know, from various different games. This here, was figuring I'd take this demon. This is an old model from a game called Eldorado. This is a 2nd edition. This is kind of a big sandstormy looking dude. He was part of this, I want to say the Saracens, if I remember correctly. 2nd edition model from the 2nd book by Cypher Studios. However, this guy might make a really good demon of some sorts. So I grabbed him and I was like, yeah, man, this is a cool model. I'll add that to my crazy idea stuff. This dude over here, how can you not like a land shark, right? Everybody likes land sharks. They were made popular in the 80s by Chevy Chase, I think. I think that's who played the land shark. Anyways, was thinking maybe of using this guy for like the walrus, you know, eating some oysters or whatever. Don't know if I'm going to use him at all, to be honest with you, but you know, the concept, the idea was there. I did pick up the Godsworn Hunt, right? I've got these guys. This was originally my thought for Alice, right? I was thinking Alice as the character. I don't recall her name off the top of my head. The dog would be my White Rabbit. You know, I've got a couple of Chaos Warriors in here that could be easily Tweedledee and Tweedledum. But I've got a couple of different ideas for Tweedledee and Tweedledum, as we saw on my list, right? I'm thinking maybe possibly using Formord, the big Formord guys as those things, right? I've got models that I pulled from the old Enigma line. This is a Forgotten Warrior. This is actually Lotharan, who becomes this guy. So there's a story here in the Enigma storyline, but you know, application there. Harry, right? I've got a copy of Harry. What am I going to use Harry for? He's just going to be part of my barbarian horde. He's actually not going to be part of this mess. I've got Dark Elder. There's a ton of Dark Elder that I have picked up, mainly just to use their weapons, or you know, various parts of these models to throw in. They fit really, really well. The helmets I really love. However, these helmets These ones here are going to go over to my vampire army. That's in a whole nother story over there. Scourges, right? I've got scourges. I like scourges because they've got a ton of parts that I can use that fit in really well. Again, some of it for my vampire army, some of it for this army. But again, I've got a bunch of Dark Elder stuff as conversion bait. More models. This one from Avatar of War. This guy is a great looking Chaos hero. He's been in my collection forever. I've really never done anything with her. I believe this is Drykia. She actually is an old school 1980s Slanesh model. I have bits and pieces and parts and stuff that I've collected over time. I did pick up some Forge World stuff, right? Sail the Faithless and Nightmaw. I have a whole bucket load of random old Chaos stuff, right? Look at that, old Hellstriders. I have a whole box full of old Chaos Knights and Chaos Warriors, right? From the old big box Chaos Army collection. This thing, Warriors of Chaos, the battalion. So they used to make battalion boxes once upon a time. Like I said, I've been collecting models for this project for a long time because it wasn't this project for a long time. Previously, it was just, hey, let's just collect a whole bunch of Chaos Warrior stuff and maybe I'll do something with it. And now I'm doing something with it. And that happens, right? Everybody, I know all of my friends that I've had, that I played basic, Warhammer Fantasy or Age of Sigmar with have all had that concept and have done that, right? So I pulled out some of my older models. I've had this. I bought this model in the late 80s, early 90s, I think when I was in high school. So this was a model I bought a long time ago. I pulled him out to make him part of this. This was a model I didn't buy that long ago, maybe a year or two, a couple years ago. This, guys, is going to be my Humpty Dumpty. That's right. This is Humpty Dumpty in my army. I'm going to do something spectacular with him, and we'll catch up on that a little bit later. But that's Humpty Dumpty. Cheshire Cats. Haven't decided what I'm going to do for a Cheshire Cat, right? Jabberwock. Do I really need one? I'm definitely not going to use a Jabberwocky as the Jabberwock. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to make a Chaos Demon into a Jabberwock. Again, the Mad Hatter and the Caterpillar, haven't figured out what I'm going to do with those guys. But as you guys have seen, I have a huge amount of stuff, a ton of things going on, and many concepts to unload and explore. But it's all part of having a good time with the hobby. So there's my quick-ish overview of what I have coming for the Chaos in Wonderland project. I'm sure I forgot to show you guys something, but it'll come up a little later. We'll check it out again. I'll have picked up more models, and I'll have continued to push this forward. But as it starts, Path to Glory, have to read the rules in Path to Glory and really kind of set it up so Dex and Jay Palmer and I can have a nice little campaign intro start to building out the force. And at that point, I'll build out as I add to the army as we work towards a 2,000 point Chaos Force, or for Dex it'll be vampires, and for Palmer probably orcs or maybe Stormcast. We will see. I may very well have those two on at a later date to check out their armies. But with that, I think I'm done sharing things right now, so let's jump into the wrap. And the wrap! They should have Alice in Wonderland song, like, playing in the background like they do at Disney World, right? I'm sure that this video would get flagged for an IP violation and pulled off YouTube almost instantly. You don't do that to Disney. Well, as you guys have seen, I have a lot of stuff for this project, right? Like I said, it's been 4 or 5 years in the works. Again, it started with orcs. And it was actually going to be, as I said a little bit ago, an army for Kings of War. And that fell apart because I didn't actually build a Kings of War army. Played a couple of games, just quite wasn't my bag. I do really like Vanguard, but coming back to Age of Sigmar with Chaos in Wonderland, Obviously, these guys, Slanesh Allegiance, I've got plenty of different roads that I can run down and travel. Now, as I said, Dex and Palmer think that I really need to tie this in with basing and terrain. As you guys have seen, I have some basic basing set out for them. Simple concept. I haven't really pushed the basing side of things on this force yet. Don't know if I'm going to. Probably just stick with the yellow brick road style mentality that I was doing with the Cav, and probably just make it simple-ish, right? Not sure I want to go too crazy with the basing, as I'm going to spend a considerable amount of time hacking and cutting up and repurposing other models for various things. So I'll probably put more time into the modeling than I will into the basing, which sometimes is hard for me to do, right? Y'all know, if you've been following the channel for a while, I generally tend to really buy into heavy basing and doing the base work, going way overboard with my base work. Pulling models from different areas, right? I still have some holes to fill. I keep pointing over here because that's where my whiteboard is with my list. Obviously I need Alice, I need a White Rabbit, need to figure out Mad Hatter and the Caterpillar. Still trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to go with Alice mounted on the Bandersnatch or not. And again, that's, you know, kind of chasing the Disney side of things. Still up in the air. But feel free to throw comments, suggestions, you know, heckles in the section below, as always. And with that, I think I'm going to call this one done. So, time to chase that little White Rabbit down the hole. And I'll catch you all, hopefully, in 2.
Hehehehe